Star Wars is hopping on the small screen, and the shoes continue to drop at LucasArts. It's Sunday, September 5th, 2010, and you'll hear about those stories and more this week in Star Wars. This Week in Star Wars is your source for new and noteworthy developments from the galaxy far, far away. I'm your host, Matt Fox. And now, this week's lead story. If you're listening to this podcast the day it's available on iTunes, then it's not too late for you to tune into Spike TV and watch a marathon of the original Star Wars trilogy in HD. In honor of the stateside Labor Day holiday, the self-described channel for men is once again going to the well with the Lucas Classic Trilogy. This follows repeated airings of the prequel trilogy throughout the preceding 2 days. Consider this a warm-up for the soon-to-be airing Clone Wars Season 3, which it is now known will debut on September 17th, a scant 2 weeks away. In actual preparation for this, StarWars.com is airing a marathon of Clone Wars Season 2 episodes, again on the Labor Day holiday. Considering the official release of the Season 2 Blu-rays and DVDs are still over a month away, a slight refresher course may be necessary to bring viewers up to speed prior to the mid-month premiere of Season 3. One of the easiest, shortest, and most creative is available on YouTube. In memoriam, the Clone Wars Season 2 was put together by DC Star Wars Collecting Club's own Jay Shepard, inspired by the annual Academy Awards salute to those actors who passed away in the previous year. In memoriam, the Clone Wars reminds viewers of which characters joined the Choir Invisible during the previous season. Again, the video is available on YouTube. Simply search In Memoriam Clone Wars. As Celebration 5 recedes further and further into our collective rearview mirror, the postmortem continues. This past week, StarWars.com declared victory and walked away by proclaiming that last month's convention was, quote, a crowd-pleasing success. More objectively, the article reveals that 32,000 people attended Star Wars Celebration 5. There is no indication as to whether this number is paid attendance or actual people going through the turnstiles, but regardless is a number quite close to previous celebrations. This podcast was privy to information that there were approximately 19,000 advance tickets sold, which would indicate that there were well over 10,000 walk-up attendees at the convention. If accurate, that walk-up number is impressive considering, as reported earlier this week in the Orlando Sentinel and available on their website, advertising and promotion for the convention in the Central Florida area was very limited and very targeted at specific audiences. Taking all that into account, the fact that Lucasfilm could convince approximately 30,000 people to trek to Orlando, Florida in the middle of August in a non-film year is probably justification enough for them to classify the convention as a hit. Another success this week for Lucas. If you remember in last week's episode of This Week in Star Wars, we told you about a suit being brought by Lucas against the erstwhile Jedi Mind Incorporated. The complaint alleged $5 million in damages for copyright infringement if Jedi Mind did not change their name. Well, Jedi Mind has changed their name to Mind Technologies Incorporated and changed the name of their product, the Jedi Mouse, to the Mind Mouse. Let's all thank the maker that confusion has been avoided. It's only been a few short weeks since Disney shuttered the original Star Tours ride for renovation, but we already have a preview trailer of the new Star Tours 2 ride available on Disney.com. The trailer purports to be a commercial for the Star Tours travel agency, showing potential customers 3 possible destinations for a Star Tours vacation, namely Bespin, Endor, and Alderaan. This is consistent with the belief that the new Star Tours will have several different possible stories to permit a more varied writing experience. Star Tours is scheduled to reopen in its reconfigured mode at both Disney World and Disneyland sometime in 2011. This week's collecting news. Sideshow this week will be releasing a Black Hole Stormtrooper 12-inch figure. Available on September 9th, the wrinkle with this release is that it will be available from Sideshow retailers, primarily local comic book and toy shops, rather than from the Sideshow website. This is the same formula that Sideshow used for the release of the Sand Trooper Corporal figure earlier this year. Details on the figure, as well as where you can find it, are available on the Sideshow.com website. Gentle Giant has informed those that pre-ordered the Bosk Animated Maquette Celebration 5 exclusive that those orders will be fulfilled this week. The Bosk Maquette is the final of the summer exclusives to be sent from Gentle Giant to those who pre-ordered, following the Macquarie Concept Vader mini bust, as well as the 12-inch reproduction of vintage Kenner action figures Boba Fett and Stormtrooper, both of which are sold out from the Gentle Giant website. Bosk is also listed as sold out at present, but that may change later in the week after cancellations from Premier Guild members are taken into account. Lego.com has made available the Lego.com and Lego Store exclusive Imperial Shuttle set, priced to move at $259. Really big with over 2,500 pieces, this set comes with 5 minifigures and is limited to 5 orders per customer. If you prefer your Star Wars collectibles to be unlicensed, Etsy.com, purveyor of Star Wars soaps, now has an accompanying piece for the bathroom, Star Wars shower curtains, based on and possibly manufactured from vintage 1970s Star Wars bed sheets. Priced to move at just under $14 a set plus shipping. You may want to move sooner rather than later on this set, as those Lucas lawyers, fresh and with confidence from their victory over Jedi Mind Incorporated, are now looking for someone against whom to extend that winning streak. Also somewhere in the licensing netherworld is Wookiee the Chew, a series of prints parodying Winnie the Pooh featuring a stylized Han Solo and stuffed Chewbacca that, because I am secure in my sexuality, I have no problem saying are some of the most adorable prints I have seen in quite some time. First found on Gizmodo, the prints by artist James Hance are available to purchase as prints or on t-shirts and stickers on his website, jameshance.com. Couple of video game items this week. It was revealed at PAX 2010 this week by BioWare and LucasArts that Darth Revan, the star of the original Knights of the Old Republic video game, will be a character in the upcoming Knights of the Old Republic MMORPG. When last we saw Revan, he was hurtling in the direction of nothing in particular, so it will be interesting for gamers to learn just what he has been up to. Real-world news from LucasArts continues to be unrelentingly grim. GameSpy.com reported this week that LucasArts will be cutting at least 1/3 of its staff. This is in the wake of the arrival of new LucasArts president Paul Meegan and the departure of The Force Unleashed creator Hayden Blackman, and the announcement that LucasArts would not be developing The Force Unleashed 3. Just how this reported staff reduction jives with other reports that Mr. Meegan intends to bring all future Star Wars video game development in-house to LucasArts is yet to be seen. No doubt there will be more stories in this vein to come. For those of you out there who don't want an iPhone for some reason, the Verizon Droid 2 R2-D2 edition is now official. Engadget has reported that an R2-D2 customized Droid 2 phone is coming to the Verizon network from Motorola. The Verizon website now has photos of the phone, which feature a special Star Wars R2-D2 dock, as well as R2-D2 design highlights on the back of the phone. More information, no doubt, will be made available by Verizon and Lucasfilm as the September 30th release date approaches. At your local newsstands this week, Star Wars Insider 120, featuring 3 different covers, one for subscribers, one for comic book stores, and one for mass retailers, and contains plenty of coverage about Clone Wars Season 3, as well as The Force Unleashed 2. While at your local comic book shop, you can pick up from Dark Horse, Old Republic number 3 of 3, as well as a reprint of Legacy number 1 for $1. In addition to the 30th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back and the 5th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, summer 2010 marks another important anniversary for Star Wars fans, the 15th anniversary of the return of Star Wars action figures. 4 years before The Phantom Menace and 2 years before the special edition, Kenner, by this time owned by Hasbro, once again began manufacturing the toys which made them famous in the late 70s. Those of us in our mid-20s at the time who viewed the line as a kitschy nostalgia walk back to our childhood had no idea that a line that seemed to take forever to get past the original handful of figures would, by the time we hit our late 30s and early 40s, would exceed well over 1,000 figures. If you were a young kid new to collecting at the time, you're probably out of college now. And if you're a casual fan who makes a couple toy runs a week, you've now been to Toys R Us or Walmart thousands of times since 1995. Kudos to Hasbro for continuing to improve the line over the last decade and a half, but I really don't want to know how many different Darth Vaders I've bought. And that was This Week in Star Wars. Join us again next week for more news, notes, and developments from the galaxy far, far away. Visit www.thisweekinstarwars, or for our lazier listeners, www.twisw.com. Feel free to email story suggestions, show suggestions, comments, and questions to host@thisweekinstarwars.com, or start a thread on our Facebook page. This Week in Star Wars. We troll the web so you don't have to.
This Week in Star Wars is not affiliated with Lucasfilm, its subsidiaries, or any other entity mentioned in this podcast. Star Wars, its characters, and creations are the property of Lucasfilm. All other trademarks are property of their respective trademark owners. This Week in Star Wars is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. This podcast is copyright 2010 This Week in Star Wars. Invaluable technical assistance provided by WebStorm Interactive. News, comments, and questions can be directed to host@thisweekinstarwars.com. More information, links to stories presented, past episodes, and additional contact information are available at www.thisweekinstarwars.com.
For 4 long years, I have listened to you all complain about your East Coast media elite problems, your apartment renovations, and your overpriced Star Wars memorabilia.